more in control of their strategy. Have we seen any impact around the world in the past 10 months since the White House has made some of these policy changes?
Yes. So the thing about what the White House did in this administration, which is really different than the last administration, is they did everything all of a sudden. And by doing everything all of a sudden, you don't actually give countries time to make that transition to take on their own response entirely. It was not as if countries weren't doing that. They were absolutely starting to take on their own responses, but usually things happen gradually. There is no doubt that people have died, absolutely died from as a result of the U.S. administration's policies. There is an estimate from something called the PEPFAR Impact Tracker that more than 120,000 people, excess deaths from AIDS, have resulted from the current administration policies.
I want to ask you about domestic policy, because here in this country and really around the world, so much progress has been made against HIV and AIDS over the years. In President Trump's first term, in his State of the Union speech, he said he'd take steps to end the HIV epidemic in this country by 2030. Let's listen.
My budget will ask Democrats and Republicans to make the needed commitment to eliminate the HIV epidemic in the United States within 10 years. We have made incredible strides.
So my question to you is, are we on track to meet that goal?
So, we were all delighted when the first Trump administration and that speech declared the End the HIV Epidemic initiative. Totally made sense, had 4 pillars: diagnose, treat, prevent, and respond to outbreaks. It was so exciting. It continued through the Biden administration. We were absolutely making progress. In fact, the CDC documented that they were able to detect more infections, give more prevention, get more people treated, all as a result of end the HIV epidemic. These sudden funding cuts in the domestic HIV response, specifically to the CDC, we won't even talk about the NIH and all the terminated grants there, is going to delay our progress to ending the HIV epidemic. The administration states they want it ended by 2030, and it is now 2026 and entering 2026, and we are not going to get there if they keep on sort of attacking the CDC and specifically the HIV prevention division, which we're all watching really with a lot of worry because they've threatened to cut that completely.
So what kind of support does the fight against HIV/AIDS still need in the U.S. in that case?
The thing about HIV is we can end it because we have all the tools. I mean, that's what's different. We now have treatment that's incredible, gets everyone virologically suppressed, meaning they don't have virus in their bloodstream, they can't pass it on, and they do well, they have normal lifespans, and we have prevention. So we have all the tools. We just need to be able to disseminate them, get them to populations that matter. And the important thing is there are disparities in this country and worldwide in people who get HIV, who are at risk for HIV. So we have to be able to use that word disparity and equity and inclusion, and those words have been banned in the current administration.
Dr. Monica Gandhi is director of the University of California, San Francisco Center for AIDS Research. Dr. Gandhi, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Here and Now is a production of NPR and WBUR. I'm Peter O'Dowd in Phoenix.
And I'm Scott Tong in Washington, D.C. It's Here and Now.
Funding for Here and Now comes from the listeners of WBUR Boston and your NPR station, and BetterHelp, committed to helping clients with issues ranging from relationship challenges and goal setting to grief and depression. Learn more at betterhelp.com/public.
At any given moment, there are thousands of people listening to this station across the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2:00 p.m. session of the Roanoke City Council. I'll ask our clerk, Ms. McCoy, to please call the roll.
Ms. Powers?
Here.
Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Ms. Sanchez-Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Here.
Mr. Nash?
Here.
Mr. Vollison?
Here.
And Mayor Cobb.
Here, and a quorum is present. I'm honored to introduce I'll call you our Reverend Elizabeth Link, who is the executive pastor at Second Presbyterian Church, who will deliver our invocation, and then following the invocation, I'll lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please stand?
Let us join our hearts in prayer. Holy One, we pause to give thanks for the privilege and responsibility of serving our city. We ask for your wisdom to rest upon each member of this council this afternoon. In a time when division and harsh rhetoric strain so many communities, we pray that Roanoke may choose a different path. Help us to listen with respect, to speak with clarity and kindness, and to work with purpose for the common good. Keep us mindful that our strength comes from our shared commitment to the people who call this city home. Guide us toward decisions that uplift the vulnerable, strengthen our neighborhoods, and promote fairness, opportunity, and well-being for all. Grant us the courage to do what is right, even when it is difficult, and the humility to learn from one another. Bless this council's work with cooperation and creativity. Bless our city with peace, safety, and hope. And may the efforts we make help build a future marked by dignity, harmony, and possibility for every resident of this fair city we call home. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend Link. Council of the City of Roanoke is seeking applications for various vacancies on council-appointed authorities, boards, commissions, and committees. To access an application, you can visit the city's website at roanokeva.gov, or you may contact anyone in our clerk's office, which is just located down the hall, or by calling 540-853-2541. Moving on to our presentations and acknowledgments, we begin our 2:00 p.m. session as we regularly do with council shout-outs. These are opportunities for us as council members during our visits to different groups and organizations and events to highlight some of the special things that are happening in the life of our city. So today I'm going to start down with Councilman Hagan.
So I'm going to shout out the Rescue Mission. They had their drumstick dash that I was able to shockingly participate in. And that was the first year I ever did it, so very, very happy for all the work that they did, along with I think they said like 8,000 people that also were doing it. So yeah, shout out to them.
Okay.
Councilwoman Sanchez-Jones.
Well, my shout out, is we attended a conference, a National League of Cities conference, and I attended many sessions, but one of the sessions that I attended had to do with the homeless population and what to do. So we are not the only city in the country that is dealing with homelessness. And I did not hear firm solutions about it unless it was had to do with affordable housing was the solution for it. So, thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to say thank you to everyone, all of our first responders and police and firefighters and 911 dispatchers that had to work over the holiday, and I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. I had a really great time and appreciate everyone that had to work and kept our city running while we enjoyed the holiday. So thank you to everyone that did that.
I will shout out our fire and EMS and our social services department. Yesterday evening, I received a call from City Manager Turner informing me of a situation at a local apartment unit where some folks were displaced due to sewage backing up into their homes and them not being able to go back in. But Chief Hoback and his team were able to call Ms. Gwyneth with our Department of Social Services, and they were able to find those folks. Two of them had disabled young children in their families, and so they were able to find them a place to stay last night. And so I just want to shout out them and their quickness and ingenuity and creativity of thinking of a solution.
So my shout out is to our city staff that has spent time getting the Christmas decorations up. It was nice coming in this morning and seeing all the wreaths up on the lights and on our street lights. And then, of course, the dais here is beautiful, but all those throughout the city that have helped to make it beautiful for this holiday season. We're really excited about Dickens of a Christmas, which starts this weekend with the tree lighting. So hope to see everybody there.
So they stole all mine. No, I want to say a big shout out to our Roanoke City Public Libraries. Now that I've gotten, that I'm retired, I get to come to the libraries and enjoy all the many different programs that you have. And what I love best, when you retire and you have grandchildren, you become the taxi driver, can you take me to the doctor's appointment? But I'm lucky because my grandchildren say, can we go to the library? Because you have so many great programs. And so my shout out is to the libraries and your employees and everything you do, all the different programs. They're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you all. Just to add, a couple weeks ago, we celebrated the first kind of the kickoff event for Valley Metro's 50th anniversary. It's hard to believe that Valley Metro has been active for 50 years here. And of course, we had transit before then, dating back to the streetcars and horse and buggies even before that. But it was interesting when we were in Salt Lake City, we noticed that the streets are very wide there, all of them, the grid layout. And the reason they are that wide is that when the city was founded, they had two teams of oxen pulling carts, and the oxen had to be able to make a complete U-turn. So if you ever visit Salt Lake City and see the wide streets, that is why. But they have an incredible infrastructure there that includes rail, bus, cycling, the whole infrastructure, and which we're making progress toward here. The other thing I wanted to share was just to piggyback on what Nick said. Being out on Thanksgiving morning with 8,000 of our closest friends, running, walking, strolling, crawling, was a testament to me about how much this community cares about some of our most vulnerable citizens. And it's not just about providing meals, it's not just about providing shelter, it's about working toward housing for everyone. And it was a very tangible expression of what our city can do when we all pull together to help the most vulnerable among us. So kudos to them. I made the mistake of signing up, registering, and getting a bib, which meant that it tracked my time. And so let's just say I have some goals to work toward in the coming year. Thank you all very much. I'm going to head down to the podium. We have a couple of presentations and proclamations to present this afternoon. Well, first of all, I'd like to invite our friends from the United States Marine Corps, Company B here in Roanoke. Would you all come up and join me here, please? So this summer I was talking to Captain Boswell from the police department, and she said that there was a staff sergeant, right? First Sergeant Badanza, who wanted to connect with the mayor and see if we couldn't work together to both recognize the work of the Marines, but also learn more about what they do. And that had a special place in my heart because my dad was a Marine, and it felt like an opportunity to reconnect with a part of my legacy. And so I was able to go out that summer day and meet a lot of the team, a lot of the leadership. And then about a month ago, was able to attend the 250th anniversary Marine Ball, which celebrated that extraordinary anniversary. And so today I have the honor of presenting a proclamation in celebration of that day. And before I do that, First Sergeant, would you be willing to come and introduce everyone who's with you today? Why don't you come right here?
First Sergeant Bedanza, I'm the First Sergeant at Bravo Company 4 CEB, active duty staff. I got my INI, Inspector Instructor, Captain Hernandez, my Operations Chief, Gunner Sergeant Volker, my Admin Chief, Sergeant Fisher. One of our ADOS Marines on active duty is Corporal Greenland. Our Assistant Admin Chief is Sergeant Chambliss, and our Corpsman is HM2 Luekel.
Whereas on November 10th, 1775, the United States Marine Corps was founded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, when the Continental Congress established 2 battalions of Marines to serve aboard naval vessels and protect the newly formed nation at sea and on land. Whereas for 2.5 centuries, the Marines have embodied the highest ideals of service, courage, and honor, standing ready to defend our freedoms wherever they are threatened. Whereas the Marine Corps' storied legacy includes generations of men and women who have served with distinction in every major conflict in American history, earning a reputation for discipline, tenacity, and brotherhood that endures to this day. Whereas Company B, 4th Combat Engineer Battalion, 4th Marine Division, with deep roots in the Roanoke Valley, continues that proud tradition through its lineage of service and commitment to excellence. Its Marines represent not only the strength of the Corps, but also the character of this community, demonstrating leadership, readiness, and an unwavering dedication to country and to one another. Whereas the City of Roanoke recognizes the vital role Company B has played in cultivating a strong civic-military partnership, inspiring young people to serve, and reminding us all of the values that bind us together: duty, honor, and respect. Whereas as the Marine Corps marks 250 years of faithful service to the United States of America, we join together to honor the past, celebrate the present, and look forward to a future shaped by the same steadfast commitment that has defined the Corps since its founding. Now, therefore, I, Joseph L. Cobb, Mayor of the City of Roanoke, do hereby proclaim November 10th throughout this great 8-time All-America city as United States Marine Corps Day. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite our city manager, Ms. Turner, and Chief Booth to step forward to recognize the police department's I-STAR unit.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I am actually going to turn it over to Chief Booth to tell us about this awesome team.
Thank you, Ms. Turner. Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, members of council, if I could call the I-STAR team forward. You can stand right here with me, y'all. So on Friday, October the 10th of this year, the Roanoke Police Department's I-STAR unit was recognized as the Virginia Crime Analysis Team of the Year by the Virginia Crime Analysis Network, or VCAN. VCAN carefully reviewed numerous crime analysis units from across the Commonwealth, including several specialty state police units, and selected our own I-STAR for this prestigious honor. The award is considered the Lombardi Trophy of crime analysis in Virginia Andrew, you wrote that, not me. So, recognizing excellence, innovation, and measurable impact. The iStar team was recognized not only for its significant contributions to reducing and solving crime within the city of Roanoke, but also for its ongoing support of regional and federal partners. We are proud to celebrate the outstanding work of the iStar team members: Andrew Reese, Samantha Stevenson, Catherine Reimer, Leah Owens, and Britton Corker. Additionally, Britton Corker received individual recognition as the Virginia New Analyst of the Year. The VCAN board commended Britton's exceptional tactical and analytical abilities, which have directly contributed to successful case closures here in the city of Roanoke. Congratulations, Britton, and congratulations to our entire iStar team for your hard work, dedication, commitment, and a job well done. Thank you.
Before we get the picture, council have any comments or thoughts you want to share?
I'm going to steal Councilman Nash's microphone, but I just wanted to thank you all. You know, I'm a big fan of data, GIS, and analysis. It was great to see you guys all stand up, and there was not one of you in a excuse me, my brain's a little slow, uniform. So it's great to see that we have both civilian and uniformed people here and doing great work for our police department. And so I really thank you for your hard work for our citizens, but also for the type of work you do with your analysis. And congratulations to you in particular for your new Analyst of the Year.
I'd like to say thank you, too, for what you do. You know, we're so very honored here in our city of Roanoke to have such a great police department and people like you behind the scenes that are solving the crimes and doing all the work you do. Thank you so much. We're honored to have you on our team.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Ms. Turner.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor McGuire, and members of council, it is an honor to stand here today to celebrate one remarkable leader, colleague, and champion for our community, Ms. Sheila Umberger. Sheila began her journey with Roanoke Public Libraries on August 17, 1982. And she began as a computer whiz kid, hired to digitize the card catalog. How many of you all remember that? That early step into innovation set the tone for a career defined by vision, compassion, and transformational leadership. Over the past 4 decades, Sheila has not only modernized our libraries, she has reimagined what they could possibly be. She led the creation of the Roanoke Valley Library Consortium, oversaw the renovation and expansion of every city library, and launched our first e-branches. Because of her leadership, our libraries have become vibrant, welcoming, and accessible spaces for all. But Sheila's impact reaches far beyond facilities and technology. She has been an unwavering advocate for literacy, equity, and community. Under her guidance, Roanoke became a national model through the Star City Reads campaign, improving school readiness and literacy for thousands of children. She helped launch the Feed and Read program, which has served nearly 500,000 meals to children in our libraries. And in 2022, she led the movement to eliminate library fines across the valley, removing barriers that stood between families and essential resources. Her work has earned her numerous awards: Citizen of the Year, Humanitarian, United Way Hero, and Inspiring Leader among them. Yet her greatest legacy is found in the lives she has touched, the children who discovered the joy of reading, the families who found support and belonging, and the staff who found her as a mentor, an advocate, and inspiration. Sheila, your leadership has been a gift to this city. You have shown us that libraries are not simply buildings, they are promises. Promises of opportunity, promises of learning, and promises of community. On behalf of the city of Roanoke, thank you for your decades of service, your unwavering heart, and your extraordinary vision. We wish you every joy in the next chapter, knowing your story and your impact is far from over. Thank you.
Oh, Sheila. Is there a song? Oh, Sheila. What are we gonna do when you retire? Well, first we're gonna give you a proclamation, right? And before I read this, I really think it would be special. You stand right there, Sheila. All the library team, I want you to come up and stand right behind her, surround her, all right? Sometimes libraries are theaters, and that's what we're creating right now for you. Yeah, come surround her. Because Sheila would be the first one to say she has not done this by herself, right? All right, are you ready? Did you like that? I'm going to work on it. I need to work some of the lyrics out. Whereas Sheila Umberger arrived in Roanoke ready to bring libraries into the future, turning rows of card catalog drawers into digital records, and proving early on that she could modernize anything with equal parts skill and patience. Whereas she helped build the Regional Library Consortium that opened millions of items to Roanokers, and then spent the next 2 decades transforming every city library into a brighter, more welcoming place through new branches, major renovations, and creative programs. Whereas Sheila led Roanoke to national recognition through Star City Reads, lifting up children and families with measurable gains in school readiness, summer learning, and reading success, while also championing joyful projects like the Roanoke Baby Book, which, how many of those have we distributed now? Any guesses? Millions. No. 3,000 babies born in Roanoke every year, 10 years. Every child born in Roanoke since 2011. I'll let you all do the math. And the Feed and Read partnership that has served nearly 500,000 meals to children, and I do believe that both of these programs played a significant role in helping us receive at least 1 and maybe 2 All-America City Awards. Whereas Sheila continued breaking barriers for access by guiding the libraries to statewide innovation honors and eliminating fines across the valley, removing obstacles for families and reminding us that the library belongs to everyone. Whereas Sheila's leadership has shaped a library system rooted in belonging, curiosity, and welcome, earning the affection of staff, patrons, families, and partners across the Star City. Whereas in 2024, Sheila celebrated 20 years as director of Roanoke City Libraries, marking 2 decades of vision and dedication that transformed library service throughout our community. Whereas as Sheila begins her well-deserved retirement, we celebrate her next chapter and wish her days filled with rest, adventure, and as many books as she can carry home or that we may deliver to her. Therefore, I, Joseph L. Cobb, Mayor of the City of Roanoke, Virginia, do hereby proclaim December 2nd throughout this great 8-time All-America city as Sheila Umberger Day. We're not done yet. It is also my great honor to present something to you, Sheila, that we give to people who have demonstrated remarkable leadership and service to the city of Roanoke. We award this to many people through the years, but it seems particularly appropriate that we present this to you today, and that is a star to the city, or a key to the city.
She's a star to the city.
Yeah, a key to the city, and it reads, presented to Sheila Umberger in recognition of 43 years of dedicated commitment to learning, literacy, and to the citizens of the city of Roanoke, August 1982 through December 2025, by Mayor Joseph L. Cobb and members of the Roanoke City Council, dated December 1st, 2025. Crowds are demanding a speech. And then we'll get a picture.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to turn my back, but I know I speak softly.
Do you want me to turn this around? This way?
Well, first off, I just want to say how honored I am and how much I appreciate it. And the thing that I'll miss most is all the people that I've worked with in the community. And I'm still going to be around doing stuff, so however, in different roles. But what I would say is the folks behind me are an integral part of our success, because what I've learned in Roanoke is a lot of people have passion about literacy, children, and it's important that we work together. So we have some partners here as well as staff that have worked with us over the years, other city departments. So I just want to say thank you back to the citizens, also to staff especially, and most of all, the dynamic leadership over the years, and especially now, you all are amazing, of the city leadership that allows a person to come in when they're 25 years old. My daughter was 1 year old, and think that they can progress through the system. And so I feel like I've always had opportunities, and so that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about now, because you have some really great librarians and staff here that will continue to do a great job. But also thank you to city manager and also to the mayor and council for being so amazing to make this the most wonderful place to live at all, not just Virginia. Yeah, so, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Council members.
Sheila, you came just right after me, and you and I have served on a lot of committees together, and you've been absolutely wonderful. But today is December 1st, so my prediction is January 1, you're going to wake up and you're going to say, oh my God, I don't have a job. That's what I did. So you'll find something to do. But congratulations. I know you're going to do lots of traveling, and best of wishes to you.
Sheila, congratulations. You've been improving the libraries longer than I've been on this earth. I remember as a kid growing up right near the Grandin Road Library and spending time there, and to see the way that our libraries have excelled over the years and the great work that you have done for our community. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and we wish you the best in your retirement.
No, I'll just add that you can always tell a company or organization has a good leader when the folks on the front line are nothing but exceptional. In every library location, whether it be Belmont, whether it be Melrose, whether it be downtown. Super jealous of the downtown because they have a playground. When I was young, there was none of that. But, there's never been a time where your staff, you all, because yes, it's about Sheila, but it's also about you all. And there's never been a time where my experience with you all have ever been anything but exceptional. And so to each of you, I thank you. To Sheila, I thank you, especially during the COVID pandemic, and the role that libraries played, particularly in our city, with providing folks with so many critical resources that they needed to maintain their way of life. So thank you all very much, and thank you, Sheila.
Sheila, thank you and congratulations on retirement. And I am just so proud of our libraries. I love our libraries, and I think they're part of what make Roanoke such an amazing city. And, it takes strong, good leaders to run any department well, and obviously you've done a great job at that. So we're really going to miss you, but you have a great team here. So thank you for building that out and leaving us in good hands, and all of the work you've done for our libraries.
Thank you. And I also would like to ask you if you'd be available to serve on the library board. Well, thank you very much for everything you have done for the city and for the citizens. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Problem with going last. Everything I was going to say has already been said. Thank you, Sheila. You've done so much for Roanoke. To be honest with you, I spent more time in libraries than I care to count. But the reality is that, growing up here, seen a marked improvement over the time. So thank you so much.
I got your face a little bit there. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. What a great group.
Yeah.
All right, thank you all. Moving on to item 3 is the hearing of citizens upon public matters. And council sets this time as a priority for citizens to be heard. All matters will be referred to the city manager for response, recommendation, or report to the council as she may deem appropriate. Madam Clerk, do we have folks signed up to speak today?
We have one person.
Okay,
That is Brian Smith.
all right. Welcome, Reverend Smith.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and hope you all had a happy Thanksgiving last week as we did. The Bible says that every good and perfect gift cometh from above, meaning anything that is truly good in our lives, God is ultimately the author and source of it. And as Sheila said just a minute ago, Roanoke is a wonderful place to live. And we have experienced, since we were the little village of Big Lick, God's providential care and blessing many times over. But with God's blessing comes the responsibility of stewardship. And we are, whether we admit it or not, our brother's keepers. I understand that recently you have decided as a council, or some of you at least, perhaps evidently a majority, and our entrusted elected leaders, to include in the legislative agenda for the 2026 General Assembly session the casino proposal. And what is being said and repeated by many is that it will be good for economic development as well as for job growth. But there's another side for the rest of that story, as Paul Harvey used to say. CNN article in 2013 by David Frum said the decision to allow casino gambling is a decision to shift the cost of government from the richer to the poorer, and within the poor to a subset of vulnerable people with addiction problems. Studies by researchers published both by Harvard and MIT have said that when cities welcome in a casino, then for every $1 of revenue, they end up spending $3 to $12 in additional cost, both by the city as well as by the citizens. Bankruptcies increase by 18 to 42%. Crime increases 10% yearly, with the average cost being to the public safety budget of $75 per citizen. And that increase in crime goes 10% year after year. 8% in property crime, increase in homeless problems, and a 12% increase in violent crimes. No matter what anybody says, in the end, the House always wins, which means once a casino is built, many in Roanoke will lose. Mr. Mayor, I know you and our city council members, you don't want to cause harm to anyone. And you have mentioned in this very meeting the responsibility we have as a city to care for those who are most vulnerable. I fear that if this casino proposal continues to move forward, then those who are most vulnerable will be those who will pay the highest price for the House to win. And so I'm going to ask that you as a council do something that would be a hard decision to make, and that is to rescind the decision to include in the 2026 General Assembly program the casino proposal. And let's work together to find other ways by which we can meet the economic needs and help the community and our neighbors so that Roanoke continues to be that place that everyone enjoys calling home. God bless you, and thank you for this time.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. We appreciate it. All of our speakers today?
All the speakers.
Move to item 4, which is our consent agenda. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered to be routine by members of the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of the items. If discussion is desired, the item can be removed from the agenda and considered separately. I'll entertain a motion and second to approve the consent agenda.
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank you, Council Members Volleson and Powers. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Powers?
Aye.
Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Aye. Vice Mayor McGuire? Aye. Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the consent agenda is approved. Item 5 is the, under the regular agenda, our public hearings. We have none today. Item 6 is petitions and communications, and we have an update from the Hope and Home Task Force, and I'll invite Deputy City Manager Angie O'Brien. Share this, to open the presentation for us.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm going to ask Adam Fajardo, I knew I was going to mess it up, to join me up here. So before we are excited to share a meaningful update on the Mayor's Hope and Home Task Force, an initiative that the journey began only a few months ago, yet is already making a powerful impact. And since the first gathering in September, the task force has dedicated members have been working very hard and moving with purpose and compassion towards solutions that uplift our community. And before the mayor offers his words on an update, I want to shine a light on the incredible efforts happening behind the scenes. Community Engagement Manager Adam has been working closely with the HAT team and the Roanoke City Police Department STAR team joining them in their outreach support with our neighbors experiencing homelessness. In partnership with RVTV, Adam has helped create a remarkable video that not only highlights the work underway, but also brings forward the human stories, the hope, and the heart that fuel the mission. It's a powerful reminder of what is possible when a community comes together with empathy, determination, and a shared vision for a brighter future. So I'm going to turn it over to Adam for him to share the video that he's worked on and offer any other remarks that Adam may have as it relates to the work that he's done to develop the video.
Sure. Thank you very much. Just by way of context, I'll say this video came out of some extended engagements that I did, joining the HAT team, the STAR team, out in the field, and meeting people who are unhoused currently, hearing their stories and their perspectives, and then also attending one of the Hope and Home Task Force meetings. So we're thinking about ways of preparing communications to the general public to sort of update people on where we're at, and just provide some insights into what the situation is really like and how the city is responding to it. I think I'm thinking of this video as still in more or less rough draft stage. I think it's not finalized, but this is sort of the direction we're going in terms of communicating to people, what we're doing right now and also how we're planning for the future. Should I play the video?
Since 2020, homelessness has increased across the entire country, including Roanoke. And while there's less homelessness in Virginia than in other parts of the country, it's still a significant issue that needs urgent attention. I'm sure we've all felt the pinch of rising prices. From rent to groceries to healthcare, prices have risen, but most wages have not kept up. It's an uncomfortable reality that many Americans are a single missed paycheck away from housing insecurity themselves. Here in Roanoke, we're taking a two-pronged approach to addressing homelessness, with some work focused on immediate needs and others focusing on long-term strategies. First, for those who are currently unhoused, the Homeless Assistance Team, or HAT, does outreach multiple times per week to meet people where they are, connect them to services, and help them transition into stable, long-term housing. Roanoke police officers also perform outreach in conjunction with HAT to educate unhoused individuals. They strive to connect those individuals to services rather than being simply punitive. Since January 2025, HAT has completed 951 client intakes, helped about 200 people obtain birth certificates or photo IDs for employment and housing, and provided $68,000 of federal ARPA funds to 52 households to help with security deposits. To date this year, HAT has helped 210 individuals move into permanent housing. Recently, HAT assisted a young couple who had been living in a tent near the Greenway. The couple had located a housing unit but was unable to afford the $950 security deposit. HAT completed their intake on September 22nd, and thanks to HAT, they were able to sign their lease and move in to their new house on September 25th, which enabled them to reunite with their 7-month-old child. The mother has since found employment, and the father is caring for the child. While HAT and our community partners work day in and day out to help this family and many other individuals experiencing housing insecurity, we also know that we need to develop long-term strategy for housing that will prevent more people from becoming homeless in the first place. The Hope and Home Task Force, convened by Mayor Joe Cobb, is a volunteer group made up of Roanoke residents, business owners, and nonprofit leaders. Their mission is to collaborate with Virginia Tech researchers to generate an actionable list of recommendations. Virginia Tech will research best practices and innovative solutions, and the task force will use their local knowledge and experience to find new ideas that fit Roanoke. The task force is working on an accelerated timeline to create a draft of recommendations by spring 2026 that can then be taken to City Council for adoption. Developing the sort of innovative long-term solutions to homelessness that we need right now is a difficult task by any measure. It's going to take time and effort, and we can't do it alone. As winter weather approaches, consider supporting the many organizations in our city that help people experiencing housing insecurity. Donations to shelters, food banks, and coat drives makes a tremendous difference. Thanks for listening. Roanoke is committed to pioneering innovative and sustainable solutions to this pressing issue, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you, Adam. That was very well done. Appreciate it. So just to build on this in terms of an update, the task force has had 3 meetings, and there's been broad-based engagement. and a desire amongst the task force to really respond as quickly as possible. We've had we've received a lot of data, a lot of information about services that are already in place. So this is really about identifying gaps or strategies that we can build on. And one of the key themes that's emerging, which will be no surprise to any of us up here, is housing. And not just permanent supportive housing, but a range of housing, tiered housing, if you will. I think there's an acknowledgement that for people who are experiencing homelessness and maybe have been defined as chronically homeless for a long period of time, it's fairly unrealistic to expect that they can move from homelessness into having stable housing immediately. So there are levels, phases through which this can happen, and supportive services are a key part of that. Last Monday, prior to the Drumstick Dash, I had the opportunity to spend an hour with about 150 people who were receiving shelter at the rescue mission. It was an amazing experience. I was able to share some of the things that we're working on as a city, but also be in conversation with them about things that they need or that they see or that they're concerned about. Many of them commented or expressed appreciation for the things that are already happening, that are in place. We talked about transportation and the new service available from the mission. It's a collaboration between Downtown Roanoke, Inc., the Rescue Mission, and Roanoke Area Ministries, or RAM House, to help people who need access to these different services to go from the mission to the RAM House and then back in the afternoon. The goal is that then this loop may include other stops, including the HAT team, Bradley Free Clinic, other services. So that's something that's in progress, and I know that those organizations have already raised $60,000 toward that goal, so they're well on their way and hoping to start that after the first of the year. Some of the common themes were, access to public bathrooms during the day, especially on Sundays when the libraries are closed. It's very limiting. Just opportunities for employment, continuing to have access to those opportunities because different people have different skill sets. We talked a lot about stigmas and how one thing may happen where an unhoused person was involved, and whatever the nature of that one thing, that is then immediately applied to everybody else who's homeless or unhoused, that's what I would call an implicit bias. So it may be that our city as a whole needs to work on implicit bias and understanding that at a core level to help us refrain from these stigmatizing words or things that we say. Several asked about abandoned housing and the process for rehabilitating housing and having more group home dynamics, which could be one of the levels of housing. And I was able to share with them that through our zoning updates, we've already made a pathway for that. And that we're hoping with the legislative ask to raise the cap on assessed values of properties that can be transferred to the land bank, that we can further accelerate that work. One gentleman shared that he is on disability and he has enough income to pay rent and have enough to live beyond that for his other expenses, but because his income is not 3 times his rent, he cannot secure housing. This is someone on disability. And so there seems to be a tension and a barrier. He's applied to 20 different landlords and gotten the same answer, and it's all about that rate of income compared to not being 3 times what's affordable for rent. We talked about storage places, but there was a real eagerness for people wanting to get involved and share solutions. And one of the things that's been important to, and continues to be important to the task force, is that we hear directly from people who have lived experience. So we will continue to find ways to do that, engage. So just wanted to share that as part of my update. Councilwoman Sanchez-Jones mentioned that we spent a lot of time in Salt Lake City looking at models and hearing from different cities throughout the nation on how they're addressing this. And it's everywhere, it's multifaceted. Different cities are experiencing different progress. And so, having the benefit of that information, I think enhances our response in ways that are appropriate and unique for Roanoke. And so we'll continue to look at those. But we wanted to bring you this update and then open it up for any questions or comments you all may have as council.
I don't know if this is a question, a statement. I really don't know what it is, but it's startling. I've heard of some pretty crazy things that property owners, landlords, companies, whichever category it might be, of doing some pretty questionable things that I think always should be measured up against the Fair Housing Act. Is that something that falls as is that allowed? Is that within the right of the property owner to say, in order to live here, you need to make 3 times what the rent is a month? And then I guess the broader question is, how closely do we work or communicate with these property owners, landlords, management companies when they have practices or policies that are big hindrances? Because I'm just thinking, I don't know how much the rent for that place is, but I'm just thinking of if a market rate apartment is trying to tell someone, well, you got to make 3 times what your rent is. You're talking about someone making $5,000 a month or $6,000 a month. That's kind of crazy. So I'm just curious, what role can we or do we play in that? And is this something where the Fair Housing Board can come in and maybe help educate those landlords, property owners, management companies about what's fair practice or best practice or what's allowed and what's not?
That's actually the Fair Housing Board. That's their main thing that they do every year is they have 2 conferences of property managers, owners, and all that have to go through this fair housing training. I do know that one of the newer laws is about the where your financing is coming from, where your money is coming from, so that there's not discrimination between, if it's a housing voucher or if it's some other form of employment. But I'm not sure. I'll defer to Mr. Hagan or the other lawyers when it comes to what it is and what landlords can ask for when they are taking applications.
Yeah, this isn't my specialty, so I will defer to Mr. Collins.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Ms. Turner?
Yeah, so the 3 times the salary for the income, for the rent, has been something that landlords have used for years. But that has been at the point of some discussion to eliminate that. I'm having staff to research that to see where it is, because that is a barrier. So we're looking for housing opportunities, particularly for our most vulnerable population. That's why having a number of different resources that go into a unit, which goes back to not looking at the source, because we did have some landlords, and this is nationally, not just in Roanoke, who would not rent if they had a Section 8 voucher. They had enough to pay for, or housing trust voucher, excuse me, because they changed the name. They had enough to pay for the rent, they had enough, but the landlord said no because of where the money was coming from. So we do have a lot of work to do. I too was, participated in quite a few of the sessions related to unhoused populations at the National League of Cities Conference. And, we have some great programs that I think are going to be coming soon. It won't completely solve homelessness in the city of Roanoke, but I think it will significantly impact it.
I'd be curious to know, because that's just, in my opinion, I'm not, you know, the law and order of Roanoke, but that's just not right. I mean, if that's what they're doing, I mean, that's just kind of scummy, but.
I can say that, Ms. Turner, you might want to look to Washington DC, because I know that they had, that their laws there state that, you know, if the voucher covers the amount of rent, then you legally cannot refuse that person to rent. So might be something interesting to look at for here.
Powers?
Do you know where we are with, several months ago, we passed the derelict and blighted property. Do we know, are people calling in to say that they're going to fix those properties up, or do we have that information? I know the taxes don't go up till July 1, is that correct, if I remember right? I just know that there are some people that have always asked about that, and we've got a lot of boarded up properties that people tell me if we could get those sold, they could get those properties back on the rolls or use them as rental. I know there's a couple people waiting, that is their goal, to help use those to make it attainable for people who don't make a lot of money. So I was just wondering where we are with that.
Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, members of council. For everybody looking on TV, I'm the Director of Real Estate Valuation. That program is housed in our department. As you know, we ratified the program in July. So what our staff has been doing this year is coordinating with code enforcement to make sure this first cycle is, to be honest with you, is a pilot. We're going to make sure that the program, the violators that we do discover are actually a combination of our team has gone out and inspected and their code violators in order to put them in the program starting January 1. So their process January 1 is that it's like the reassessment. They'll get a notification that they're subject to a blight or derelict tax above the actual rate. And then they have 30 days to appeal that assessment, and then if they do come in, they'll be directed to code enforcement where they have they can submit a 90-day plan to fix the property. So that's where we are right now. We just finished that up this year, and this will be the first time we roll out those notices in January. I got to warn you, it's not going to be a ton of them because we actually wanted to make sure we were right in doing what we were doing, so we're basically doing it in concert with code enforcement. Okay.
Thank you for that update.
Thanks.
Breton, quick question to follow off of that. Would we be able to, I really appreciate that, thank you, to get the data as that gets up and running? Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the amount that we were able to increase on the vacant derelict properties was really marginal.
Yes, 5 or 10% above the rate.
Yeah, so not a whole lot, but I would wonder if we could get some data to see if that does help move any of those properties. And then if not, if what we were able to do, which I think was the maximum under law,
Yes.
is not effective enough, that would maybe give us some information to inform next year's legislative agenda to ask. I don't know if there would be an opportunity to ask Richmond to look at that, but it's not in our legislative agenda this year. But I had a number of people reach out to me to thank us for doing that, but then also say it doesn't seem like it's enough to really.
It's not a deterrent. It's not going to be a deterrent. It's not going to be a deterrent. But what we are doing in this process is we're identifying those properties. So, for example, the staff, my appraisal team went out this year. They're going to supply code enforcement with their information based on them being either derelict or blighted, and then hopefully, if the numbers go up, that'll be enough. If the notifications go out, and they have to submit a plan if they don't want to be subject to the additional taxes, but. You're right, it's not going to be a huge deterrent. It wasn't designed for revenue producing. It's really designed to make sure that they come in and actually fix property. Where it may be a deterrent is with landlords who own multiple properties and have decided we've incentivized them by them, this will be a disincentive for them because they have to pay more, and they always look at the bottom line. So we're hoping that that may be a disincentive for them as we start to assemble this list and be vigilant about getting those folks on the list.
Thank you for your work on it. I know we'll appreciate seeing, I think it'll be great to have that list and that info.
Yes.
Quick question, and either for you or Mr. Collins. The ability to raise this tax, right, is that only for cities or is that also applied to counties?
David, I'll let you speak to that.
Cities and counties? Okay. Never mind.
Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Bratton. Any other questions or general comments? All right, thank you all, and thank you, Deputy City Manager O'Brien and Adam Fajardo. Did we get that right?
Fajardo.
Fajardo. My translator is right here. I know. All right, then we will move on to reports of city officers and the city manager, and I'll turn to our manager, Ms. Turner, to introduce our briefing, which is the October monthly budget report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to invite up the city's Deputy Director of Finance, Ms. Aquanetta Harris, who will be giving us the update.
Good afternoon, Mayor Cobbs, Vice Mayor, members of council. I'm reporting FY26 October monthly financial report. I would like to begin with our revenues, starting with our local taxes. Under the general property taxes, compared to prior year, real estate tax continues to show an increase each month. As of October, real estate taxes is 8% higher compared to prior year. This is due to an increase in assessment and delinquent tax collections. Also wanted to note, personal property's due date is May 31st. We continue to see an increase in personal property. Again, this is to delinquent collections. Moving down to other local taxes, we continue to see a 7% drop in sales tax compared to prior year. Sales tax, again, is a 2-month lag. However, I would like to state, reviewing and looking ahead at November's sales tax amount, the actuals year-to-date compared to prior year is now flat. We should be able to see a clear picture of how sales tax is performing for the full 3 months in the next reporting period. I would also like to point out cigarette tax. We continue to see a slight decline compared to prior year. It's about $127,000 lower. This is due to a decrease in the number of people smoking, also cigarette prices, and health concerns. And the last item that I would like to point out on this slide is we continue to see an increase in transient occupancy and business license, and again, this is due to delinquent collections compared to prior year. In continuing with our revenues, looking at our non-local taxes, just wanted to highlight charges for services and grants and aid Commonwealth. FY26 actuals are higher compared to prior year. Please note, this is only a timing difference in funding reported and recorded in prior year. Charges for services, the timing was inmate phone commission, and grants and aid, the timing was street maintenance. Other non-local taxes is performing as expected compared to prior year. Last month, this was added to the financial report for the fiscal year. Again, this slide just represents the base sales reported, the base sales of prepared food and beverage. So just wanted to highlight again, in July, there was an increase of 1.6. In August, there was an increase of 1.3. And in September, there was an increase of 794,000. So we continue to see an increase in prepared food and beverage base sales. We will continue to track and report this out monthly. The next slide represents our expenditures. Target percent for expenditures 4 months into the fiscal year is 33%. Please note, judicial administration is tracking higher than the target percent. This is just a timing difference regarding an invoice received and paid for residential detention center. Overall, total general fund expenditures are within the expected range compared to budget. Finance will continue to monitor expenditures monthly and meet with departments. This next slide represents our overtime. Currently, overtime is tracking around $400K monthly. If this continues, we will exceed the overtime budget. We are working with departments to address overtime. And the next slide represents our temp wages. Overall, temp wages budget is 3.5. If we continue at a monthly expenditure range no more than $286,000, we will continue to stay on track and meet and stay within the budget for temp wages. Thank you. This concludes the report for the October monthly financial report. Do you have any questions?
Thank you for that update. Any questions from council? All right, we're grateful to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move now into our items recommended for action. Item A is the acceptance of state and local cybersecurity grant program consent agreement for an asset inventory system for the City of Roanoke Technology Department. We have one measure, a resolution. I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Councilmember Volleson and Hagan. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
A resolution to accept the state and local cybersecurity grant program for an asset inventory system between the Commonwealth of Virginia and the City of Roanoke, receiving services in lieu of direct funding, authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the local consent agreement, and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute such other documents and to take such further actions as may be necessary to implement, administer, and enforce such agreement.
Thank you. Ms. Turner, any additional comments?
Just one brief comment. This particular grant program will focus on improving asset inventory. And Vanessa Bohr is here should you have any additional questions.
Ms. Bohr, come on up here. For that reason and another reason. We were happy to run into you, although we knew you were going to be there, for the National League of Cities. Would you like to share with us the award that you were able to receive and pick up on behalf of the city?
Yes, the city was recognized as the number 7 in the top 10 digital cities for our population size.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Very proud of you. Now, is there anything further you'd like to share with us about this asset inventory system?
Just this is now the 3rd grant that we're receiving from VITA. So the state is doing a great job of trying to get all localities access to cybersecurity tools. So we're very grateful and we're looking forward to all the new tools that we can use to enhance our program. And I've brought with me David Clark, who is an IT manager right now over cybersecurity, in case there was any other questions.
Any follow-up questions?
Just thank you, Vanessa, for everything that you and your team does. You do a great job, and we're happy that we have you here. Thank you.
very
And
much.
congratulations on your award.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Powers. Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones. Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the resolution is adopted. Thank you all. Item B is appropriation of the disposable plastic bag tax revenue, and we have one measure, a budget ordinance, and I'll entertain a motion and second.
Make the motion.
Second.
Thank you, Council Members Powers and Volleson. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
An ordinance to appropriate funding from the Virginia Department of Taxation for the disposable plastic bag tax, amending and reordaining certain sections of the 2024-2025 grant fund appropriations, and dispensing with the second reading by title of this ordinance.
Thank you. Ms. Turner.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city's plastic bag tax continues to generate dedicated funding for environmental cleanup, education, and reusable bag programs. At this time, I'd like to invite our Sustainability Coordinator, Leanne Weitzenfeld, to come up and give a very, very brief presentation. I know that she had the opportunity to talk to each of you, but I think it was important for the general public to hear about the program.
Great, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Cobb, Vice Mayor McGuire, City Council members, and Ms. Turner. Thank you for having me speak this afternoon. It is very exciting that we have gotten to this point with the budget. Like Ms. Turner said, my name is Leanne Weitzenfeld, and I am the Sustainability Coordinator. So on March 17th of 2021, City Council adopted an ordinance to reduce the use of disposable plastic bags provided by retailers and retail establishments in the city of Roanoke to curb litter on the streets, protect marine environments, waterways, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, solid waste, and to promote the use of durable plastic bags by retail establishments. Pollution is not just litter. It's not just a litter issue, but it's actually a climate change and a human health and an environmental justice issue. And I think the bottom line that really drives this point home of why we have this tax is that nothing we use for 5 minutes should tarnish future generations. It shouldn't last for, and pollute our planet for future generations. So, why did we move to adopt this tax? Because there is no way. Plastic never decomposes. It just breaks down into microplastics and nanoplastics, and then it gets into our environment, it gets into our food. And so microplastics and nanoplastics have now been found in all the major organs of the body, and even in fetuses. So trillions of plastic bags are created and used each year. And in fact, more plastic has been produced in the last 10 years than the last 100 years combined. Some may not consider plastic to be one of the key drivers of climate change, but in reality, the greenhouse gas emissions from plastic generation and that life cycle of plastic actually threatens our ability to keep that threshold of danger that protects human health down from 1.5 to 2 degrees as far as the temperature rise. So if the production, disposal, and incineration of plastic continue on their current pathway, by 2050, emissions from plastics could raise to 2.8 gigatons of carbon dioxide per year, which is equivalent to what a 615 500 megawatt coal plants generate. So it's pretty substantial. So the allowable uses are for environmental cleanup. We can use the funds to provide education programs that reduce environmental waste. We can mitigate pollution and litter, and then we can purchase reusable plastic bags. Our focus is on SNAP and WIC recipients, but we can also purchase other bags as well. So environmental waste is defined as an unnecessary use of resources or a substance released into the air, water, or land that could harm human health and the environment. So 2 programs that are in the budget are kind of a bring your bag education campaign where we could work with some of the local stores and to provide different methods of reminding people to bring their bags. And then we also want to focus on recycling. We want to increase our recycling rate as well as decreasing the contamination rate that we currently have. This is the main portion of focus is pollution and litter mitigation programs and then education of that. So we would like to do some climate change training for our various departments and then follow up with some working groups so that we can start to integrate climate change into day-to-day city activities and our work. We want to work on fleet decarbonization, so that means alternative fuels, that means EV infrastructure, and working on adding EV fleet EVs to our fleet. We want to help get the word out on the CPACE program. One of the things that people love in our community is the Green Academy. And so we want to be able to bring that back. I often get phone calls about people wondering where we're going to start that again. We want to create an employee-based commuter program. And then working with local restaurants and some of our festivals to reduce waste there as well. And then, of course, reusable bags. So I really think that it's important to me that we buy quality bags that are going to last, and then they also have good functionality. So that includes smaller bags, like a Chico bag or something that can fold in on itself and you can have it on your keychain or on your purse, but bags that can be reused, they can be washed, and are durable. So that is the end of my program for you. Can I answer any questions for you?
Yes, Mr. Nash.
Question. Are these reusable bags? I have to admit, I'm not Vice Mayor McGuire when it comes to the environment, so I don't know. But do these type of reusable bags tend to be biodegradable? Because I'm thinking about, like people are still going to maybe throw them away, or it's soiled in some capacity, and they're still going to put it in their regular trash can.
Yeah.
Are these degradable after a certain amount of time, unlike plastic is? Or?
So some of them are made from recycled plastic. Some of them are made from cotton, flax, that kind of thing. And so I think it just depends on the cost and then what we can, I think that what I would seek to find is something that would be very durable. So even if it was made out of recycled plastic, I wouldn't do virgin plastic. It would have a lifespan of years.
And my second question was, when I was reading through this, it made me think about a CMI I was going to do at one point, then I kind of put it on the back burner. But it was a CMI to work with Star City Compost to pilot a composting program starting here in the city and then promote it out to the restaurants, specifically downtown, but all around town, to really help capture a lot of our food waste and organic waste, to keep it from going into the landfill and producing methane. Is that something that could be on the table when it comes to that education of informing people about, because a lot of people don't know how bad methane emissions are in comparison to the other gases that are emitted. I mean,
That is certainly a program that could be part of the plastic bag tax revenue budget.
Okay,
For sure.
perfect.
Yeah,
I just wanted to throw that out
we
there.
can certainly look at that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's important.
I never got to it, but that's something I would love to see us do, is partner more with Star City Compost, because I think what they're doing for our environment here locally, in the soil and the fertilizer that they produce is some high quality stuff. So I want to make sure we're working with them.
Yes, great idea.
Questions, comments? Ms. Power, or Mr. Hagan, then Ms. Powers.
So when researching this, I noticed that during the initial passage of this, there was about 40% that was staying with the stores, i.e. that the city was only collecting 3 cents of the 5-cent tax, which then changed in 2023 to where where we don't collect about 20% of the tax, meaning that that amount stays with the stores. Was there any legal reason as to why that is the case? Is that something that is required by state code, or?
I think that is a state code requirement. I would have to defer to our city attorney's office or do some digging myself, just simply because I was not here at the very beginning of the program's inception, but I'm happy to look at that.
So my concern is that because we don't collect on the entire 5 cents, that you have large companies that are able to operate at scale, that we just subsidized all of their plastic bags, because where they were previously having to absorb that cost, now it gets passed on to the consumer, and even at 1 cent, they can buy those flimsy plastic bags pretty cheaply. So that is a major concern. If the goal of this is to reduce plastic bag use, what's the incentive for companies to stop if that's not a requirement under Virginia law? Yeah.
I think part of the answer is we need to do a little more research on that, whether that's actually in state code or something we can address as, if we have the authority to address that. Ms. Powers.
So I just happened to be in Richmond this past weekend and was shopping at Wegmans, and they do charge 5 cents for a paper bag. Is that new, or has that always been part of even the plastic? Because I know around here, Kroger will give, you can do paper if you want to, but I don't think they charge.
And that is up to the store.
But, so if it's, do they have to share that with the localities there? So that's just pure profit for them?
That is correct, Ms. Powers.
Wow, okay, thank you. I got a sticker on my front of on my dashboard that says, "Don't forget your bag."
Excellent.
Thank you, Mayor. I was just thinking about what Councilmember Hagan said. You know, I don't know that it's a perfect system. I think the idea is to discourage people from using a product that, you know, demonstrably worsens our environment and creates a lot of unforeseen costs. We could ask for permission to pass a plastic bag ban. That would be an option that we could certainly consider. I'm kind of kidding. I wanted to say to you, Leanne, thank you very much for your work on this, and I also want to thank City Manager Turner for bringing this, helping bring this forward to us. I hear from a lot of people that will sometimes grouse about this and say, "Oh, the 5-cent bag fee." Sometimes jokingly, and I remind people I've done a lot of cleanups in our city, and to me, this is about, it's multifaceted. It is about our public health, and we know that microplastics is getting into everything and all of us. It's also about economic development, and we know whether you like to go outside or not, we know that a lot of people do come here because they like to go outside, and we have a beautiful outdoors. And I worked all summer on the Roanoke River, and one of the comments that we got after storm events from visitors was how disappointing it would be that the river would have so much trash in it and in the trees and on the banks, and you know, we can't help a lot of that. A lot of it comes from upstream out of our city. But I think that we can lead on this, and we are leading on this and showing what's possible, not just in saying you can't have, we're trying to get these plastic bags out of your hands, but what you've come up with, I think, is a really thoughtful plan and program for how to spend that money that does the education work that I think we so desperately need. It is not happening in schools and in our communities in the way that I remember it happening when I grew up, so I think we desperately need that, getting those durable, reusable bags out there. And then I just want to say thank you. I thought it was really clever in looking at some of the options on how we could spend this money, that it's not just about cleaning up the plastic bags, which are a problem in and of themselves, but there are other ways to address other pollutants that are more directly harmful to people's health, like air pollution, water pollution, and some of the money, I just want people to know that some of the money is it's not just those other things I mentioned and pulling bags out of the Roanoke River, but it's reducing emissions that contribute to people having asthma attacks and cardiovascular issues, and we have really high rates of a lot of these diseases in Roanoke disproportionately. And so to your point, it is an environmental justice issue, I think, for us here locally, and then also for the communities that bear the brunt of where this stuff is refined and produced. So I am really proud to, I expect to vote yes on this and support it, and I just really appreciate, again, the city manager and your work on bringing it together, and anyone else who helped with it, because I think it's impressive, and I think we'll be able to get a lot done with the funds that we have raised from the dreaded bag tax.
Fabulous, thank you.
Well, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Leanne, for this and for all of your work on it. I want to recognize one of our great community partners when it comes to recycling and education, and that is Clean Valley Council. Courtney Plaster is here with us today. They also help, we contract with them to do our Adopt a Street program, cleanup program, and I don't know, you're everywhere, cleaning up, making stuff out of the stuff you clean up, all of that good stuff. Thank you for being here today. I remember when we were discussing this originally, and Councilmember Bestfitch said, you know, people can fuss about this all they want, but the goal of this is not to receive any revenue. Bottom line. It's as simple as that. But we have received a lot of revenue. And so some of this is about changing behaviors. And I will say that when I go to the grocery store, I see a lot more people taking in totes, recyclable bags than I do coming out with plastic bags. But it's an ongoing process. So thank you all for your work on this. All right, Madam Clerk, I think we're ready to call the roll.
Ms. Powers. Mr. Hagan.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
Aye.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
Aye.
Mr. Nash.
Aye.
Mr. Volleson.
Aye.
Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the budget ordinance is adopted. Thank you. Move now to our reports of committees. We have a presentation of the proposed 2026 City of Roanoke Legislative Program and proposed 2026 Roanoke City Public Schools Legislative Program. Vice Mayor McGuire is the chair of our legislative committee, and we have two resolutions today for adoption. The first is to adopt the City of Roanoke Legislative Program, and all members of council can vote on this. I know all of us have received the packet, and it's also, I believe, included in the agenda. Vice Mayor, anything in addition that you would like to add to this? And then I'll open it up to any questions from council before we vote on this.
No, Mayor, thank you. I appreciate everyone's help and work on it. And no further questions or comments from me.
Questions or comments? Mr. Volleson.
Yeah, I had a question about why we're doing one without schools and one with schools. We have one legislative agenda, and that, of course, includes...
We're doing it so that we can have two separate votes because two members have to recuse themselves.
I still go back to that question of, because then we're approving two separate legislative agendas and not just one legislative agenda that has all of it on there.
So either way, I think it's to try and clean it up, from my understanding.
That's correct, Mayor Cobb. One resolution is to approve the city's legislative program, which does not include the schools, and that way all of the council members can vote on it. Second resolution is to approve just the schools portion of the city's legislative program. And in that part, for that resolution, Vice Mayor McGuire and Council Member Ms. Sanchez Jones will have to recuse themselves.
So the second one is just the schools portion of it? Okay.
The 1%.
We're still, it's the school's legislative agenda, and it includes the 1% sales tax, which was part of our agenda.
I still have to say I'm just a bit miffed as to, and I'll continue on, but I don't understand why we're doing two separate ones when we have always in the past done one. I understand that there are two folks that would have to recuse themselves, but it doesn't change the message and the legislative agenda itself, which is that 1% schools
And
tax
just
is
to
there.
clarify, it's one legislative program, but the council members, all of the council members are voting on the main part of it that excludes the schools' 1% and the schools' legislative priorities. So one resolution is for all of it excluding the school portion. The other resolution is for just the schools portion of the city's legislative program. There's only one legislative program, and we recommended doing it that way so that the full body of the council members can vote on the city's legislative program whereas only 2 members would have to recuse themselves from voting on the school's legislative program, instead of having the 2 members recuse themselves from the entire proceeding.
Thank you for the question.
Appreciate the
Process
clarification.
question, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, other questions? All right, so we will We will vote on the first resolution, which involves the City of Roanoke Legislative Program. There's one measure resolution. I'll entertain a motion and second.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Council Members Volleson and Nash. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
A resolution adopting and endorsing the city's portion of the 2025-2026 legislative program for the city and authorizing the city's legislative liaison to advocate the positions of the city with respect to matters presented during the 2026 session of the General Assembly.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this resolution? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Powers? Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez Jones? Vice Mayor McGuire?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the resolution is adopted. This time I'll call on Vice Mayor McGuire and Councilmember Sanchez Jones to read their conflict of interest statements.
Thank you, Mayor. I, Stephen Terry McGuire, state that I have a personal interest in any issues involving legislative priorities of the school board of the city of Roanoke, and because I am an employee of the school board of the city of Roanoke, therefore, in accordance with Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, I will refrain from participation in this matter. I ask that the clerk accept this statement and ask that it be made a part of the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Sanchez Jones.
Thank you. I, Vivian Sanchez Jones, state that I have a personal interest in any issue involving legislative priorities of the school board of the city of Roanoke. And because I'm an employee of the school board of the city of Roanoke, therefore, in accordance with Virginia Code Section 2.2-3112, I will refrain from participation in this matter. I ask that the clerk accept the statement and ask that it be made part of the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sanchez Jones. We have one measure, a resolution. I'll entertain a motion and second on the resolution.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Thank you, Council Members Volleson and Nash. Madam Clerk, will you please read the title paragraph?
A resolution adopting and endorsing the portion of the 2025-2026 legislative program for the city that supports legislation for a referendum on whether to increase the sales tax by 1% for school construction and schools legislative program adopted by the school board on October 14th, 2025, all of which is to be presented to the city's delegation of the General Assembly, and authorizing the city's legislative liaison to advocate the positions of the city with respect to matters presented during the 2026 session of the General Assembly.
Thank you. Any further discussion on this resolution? All right, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Powers? Mr. Hagan?
Aye.
Mr. Nash?
Aye.
Mr. Volleson?
Aye.
And Mayor Cobb.
Aye, and the resolution is adopted. Ms. Turner, I neglected to call on you for your comments at the end of your section, so I'm going to return to you now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do have two comments. The athletic field maintenance crews installed turf blankets at River's Edge North to support winter protection of warm season soccer fields and encourage quicker recovery from winter dormancy in the spring. The blankets also discourage winter play, which typically causes significant surface damage and extends recovery periods, often delaying field reopening. Number two, the weekend of November 21st and 22nd, 2025, the Teen Apprenticeship Cohort Number 10 participated in a 12-hour leadership challenge. Because of the training, the students completed Student 360 assessments based on Kouzes and Posner's The 5 Principles of Exemplary Leadership to assess their leadership competencies. This provided valuable insight into their strengths and areas for growth. The weekend was packed with an intensive curriculum focused on leadership effectiveness, critical skills for success, and building confidence. 13 high school students engaged in this challenge facilitated by Paradigm 360 Enterprise Solutions. They learned the importance of values, how to dream big through vision boards, and how to model leadership in any position. This program comes to an end on Thursday, December 4th, 2025, at a graduation ceremony at the Berglund Center, and you're all invited. That concludes my comments. What time is it? 5 o'clock. You should have gotten an invitation. Did you all not get invitations? Okay, all right. I'll make sure you get that.
All right, thank you. Item 2 under our reports of committees is comments on certain authorities, boards, or committees. Do we have any council members who serve as liaisons? Any updates? We have no unfinished business or introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. Any inquiries or comments by members of council? All right. We'll move on to our vacancies on certain authorities, boards, and commissions. We have a number of appointments and reappointments, and I'm going to invite Vice Mayor McGuire to share those, and then when we call the roll at the end, if you will just respond with all nominees.
Thank you, Mayor. To the Architectural Review Board, for a 4-year term, we are appointing Yvonne Johnson. To the Board of Zoning Appeals, for a 3-year term for reappointment, we are reappointing Jason Varney. We are reappointing also to the Board of Zoning Appeals Christopher Miller for a 3-year term. To the Equity and Empowerment Advisory Board, we are reappointing Juan Carlos Mejia for a 3-year term. And we want to clarify that Shane Spradlin was appointed for a 3-year term to the Towing Advisory Board, and he will need a residency waiver.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Powers.
All nominees.
Mr. Hagan.
All nominees.
Ms. Sanchez Jones.
All nominees.
Vice Mayor McGuire.
All nominees.
Mr. Nash.
All nominees.
Mr. Volleson.
All nominees.
And Mayor Cobb.
All nominees, thank you all. We are going to recess for our last closed meeting, and then once that is complete, we will come back out and adjourn council business. Thank you all.